Welcome back. Come on in, take a seat. It was wonderful to talk to so many of you over lunch. We've got a special guest with us today, Marcos Placona. He is here in London with us. Marcos started his career as a Java developer, and then he was with Twilio Developer Evangelism for many years. He led developer relations at Circle, which just IPO'd. So he's got a ton of experience building applications, showing them off, and Marcos is here because he built something special with Gradient AI and DigitalOcean, all of our services, and he wants to show you what this looks like. So let's give a big round of applause and welcome Marcos.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, folks. There's a reason why I have this screen open here. So who's never heard about Reddit here? Okay. Okay. Who's been banned from Reddit? Okay. So here's a story I'll tell you. Right now, there's a lot of companies trying to do marketing on Reddit. You post something on Reddit, someone will reply to you saying, "Hey, here's my SaaS." I try to do the same. Okay, so this is the LinkedIn community, and I try to do the same. And very quickly I learned the lesson here. So I won't be posting to the LinkedIn community ever again. Now, I'm Marcos Placona, and I run two companies. I run an agency that helps founders with developer relations, and I also run a SaaS that helps companies understand their LinkedIn stats. So if you have a LinkedIn company page, you can use my SaaS, and you'll be able to understand your stats. I basically give you everything that LinkedIn doesn't really give you when it comes to metrics, okay? And what I did here is I was, like everyone else, I was just trying to push my product on LinkedIn. Now, sorry, on Reddit. Now, why is this important? Because, like I said, a lot of companies are doing marketing on Reddit right now. So here's a Google search. And I had this conversation with Phil yesterday, who you've seen the presentation today, and it was like, yeah, if you're searching for something like mattress, for example, it is really hard to know what mattress you want. But it's funny because I also had the same conversation with my wife, and what I noticed was when you do a search like this on Google and you try to look for mattresses, there will be a bunch of ads. So in fact, there's Emma Sleep here, which is a mattress company. The Independent is actually not so independent when it comes to reviews. But if you do a search on best mattress comparison Reddit, then there's going to be some really, really interesting threads in here. And those threads are going to be from, there was this one, I'm a professional mattress tester, and I tested 453 mattresses, which is amazing, right? So this guy tested mattresses for a year. So obviously, there is something here. There is something about doing marketing on Reddit, okay? Now, what did I think about this? Because my clients were asking me, hey, we want to get on Reddit. How do we do this? And my only experience with Reddit was this, getting banned. So I'm a developer, okay? And I thought, what can I do to help the founders I work with to be on Reddit? And then ThreadScout was born. Now, I'm going to show it to you first. Let me just make sure it's big enough. I'm going to show it to you first. So here are two things that ThreadScout does, okay? So you start by deciding who are you trying to market to, okay? So in this case, I'm saying, I have a LinkedIn SaaS, so I have selected LinkedIn in here. If I wanted to search for SaaS as well, I can go and add it to here. And then I am going to pick what keywords I'm looking for on Reddit. So in this case, I have help, analytics. I can say, stuck, someone stuck with analytics on LinkedIn. They need some help. And then I've got the option here to say, hey, how long is this going to go back to? And what I want here is I only want fresh data, okay? So I'm going to do a look back for 24 hours. And I am going to reduce the number of threads to 3 here, okay? So here's what this thing is going to do. It is going to go to Reddit, and it will search for that information here, okay? Now, not only does it just search for the information, but it will start streaming some data into my results in here, which you will see in a second. So right now, there's someone talking about analyzing the app. It makes 3K a month. So there's someone kind of like, this may be an interesting topic for me. Now, how do I know this is an interesting topic for me? That's where DigitalOcean Gradients comes in, because I have trained a model inside DigitalOcean to understand my product. It understands my website, it understands my product. Then it goes on Reddit, so my application goes on Reddit and says, I found those threads. Now, because I found those threads, I want to tell you, yeah, so you see some results coming back now. Because I found those threads, I want to tell you whether you should comment on those threads and what you should use to comment. So there are a couple of responses here. So we're almost doing a little bit of A/B testing here. So I'm going to show you the responses because I have two variants. I have one that I call the safe response. And the safe response is if you're trying to build authority inside a subreddit, you use the safe response. The safe response will not try to plug your product. The safe response will say, well, Marcos Placona has been helping out with the mattress Reddit or the LinkedIn Reddit. And then there is a variant B in here, which in this case it said, I don't have a variant B for you. Like, you should not be posting anything in here. Okay, don't post anything with links, which is fine too. Then we can look at the other responses because I asked for 3. Variant A, in this case I have a variant B, and this variant B actually plugs my product. So in this case, the agent decided that it was okay for me to go and post a link. Now, there's all the risks and considerations here. So, if you try to use it and you get sued by Reddit for some reason, I am making sure that, you understand the risks in here. But basically, all of those results, they get returned. But not only they get returned, my agent is smart enough to tell me that, and it basically rates on a 0 to 100 whether this is a good thread for me. So in this case, it's saying that on the SaaS subreddit, this one got rated at 72, which means I should have some fair success if I were to publish about my products, if I were to post about my products on Reddit. Now, let me just show you how this works real quick, okay? Because I think, I talked about what it is, but let me show you what I'm using here. So here's what I have. I have a knowledge base. Now, the knowledge base is interesting because, like I said, it has been trained on my website. And the way it's been trained is, I'm going to go to data sources here. I gave it my website, and I said, go ahead and index. I didn't have to do anything here. I said, index my website, and it indexed everything. It indexed all my blogs. It indexed all my prices and everything. I didn't have to do anything, which is great because I wanted to move fast with this. Then I have my agent here. And obviously, my agent uses the knowledge base that I gave it. But not only it uses the knowledge base that I gave, it also has a row. So I'm saying your threads count, you find high intent Reddit threads where our product can help, and you draft a helpful, transparent reply. There's some tool calling that I can do here. I'm doing some tool calling, as you can see. So I make sure that the links are validated. So if for some reason, because AI is not always very deterministic, if for some reason the agent decides to return a link that is not to my product, it gets validated. So I'm saying only return links to my product. And I'm also saying what not to do. Okay, so don't process text that doesn't have any links. Now, where it gets interesting is at the end. You have a JSON response, and this is really, really helpful because I'm telling this I'm basically telling this agent, I want you to go and do your thing, and when you come back, I want you to return JSON that I understand. Okay, so you're going to give me variants, you're going to give me variant A, variant B. If I want to change this and I want to add some more things to it, as in color, I can say, hey, you're going to return a certain number of colors. This could be green, yellow, red for what is the response that I'm going to get, and also I can talk to it, which is very helpful, so I can test it. And let me just show you what else I have here real quick, which is this is deployed to DigitalOcean, the app platform, so it is live. And I use a database cluster here, which is my vector database, okay? So like all that knowledge base, all that stuff that I told my agents to learn is on this database. It lives on this database. Now, a bit of good news for you. I'm not trying to sell this to you, okay? Like I'm not here to say, hey, you should totally buy Threads. Maybe I will one day. Right now, this is open source, okay? So if you go into my, Marcos Placona, so mplacona is my GitHub repository. There's all the information about it. There's also some information about, let's refresh this. There's also some information about how this works. So obviously you've got a user has a React front end, which is the thing that I showed you. It goes into a back end, and then it talks to my agent. My agent then makes a decision about what to do with it. So I'm going to go to the knowledge base, and I'm also going to do some function calling here. So it does my validation, it does my rules. So it actually goes and checks all of the Reddit rules to see if I can publish links, to see if I can talk about my product. And in case I can't, it would just go like, hey, variant B, which is the unsafe variant, you should not do that. And it does everything for you through like the tool calling. And in here, under functions, so you'll be able to see the tools. Under functions, I have the agent prompt. Now, my prompt to you is, this is open source. It's on my GitHub account. You can 100% go and download it and play with it and change things, change your prompt, train it on your product, and now you can do marketing on Reddit and not get banned. Folks, I've been Marcos Placona. I'm going to be here the whole day, so if there are any questions or any way I can help you be more successful on Reddit, come and talk to me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Awesome. Thank you, Marcos. All right, we're going to jump right into the next session. We're going to be talking about slashing cloud costs. So let's give it up for our next couple of presenters.
Hey everyone. Hope the lunch treated us well, yeah? With post-lunch carbs and dim lighting, digestion is like a back-end job that could slow the system down. So a quick energy check. If you're feeling drowsy, just like me a bit, right? Give me a thumbs down if you're feeling a bit drowsy. Or if that lunch has powered your GPUs and CPUs and you're in high performance mode, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Keep your energy levels high. Because if you doze off in this session, it could be costly. We'll tell you why, right? If you're constantly thinking about how your cloud and AI costs can spiral out of control as you grow your business, well, you're exactly in the right session. I'm Ananta Ramachandran, part of the product marketing team here at DigitalOcean. In this session, we'll share super effective, proven tips that can easily help you control costs. Akshit, my colleague from DigitalOcean, will also demonstrate certain tools that are available right within DigitalOcean console that can easily help you identify where your money is going and how to cut those wasteful spend. And you don't have to just hear our word for it, right? You'll also hear from some of our amazing customers who've been able to successfully control costs as they've grown their business. We truly hope at the end of this session, you will gain the confidence to go try some of these tips and start adopting the tools that are available right away to control your costs as you scale your infrastructure and grow your business. So let's crack on. Let's look at super effective ways to control your cloud costs. First off, it's very important for us to have a deep understanding about your DigitalOcean's cloud bill. DigitalOcean, as we all know and enjoy, offers simple pricing. Right? We have predictable pricing because of monthly caps. We offer flat uniform pricing, because of which most of us, we know that there aren't any huge surprises when we receive the cloud bill. However, it is important for all of us to deeply understand our cloud bill. So I'm going to request and encourage all of you, once you get back, connect with your teams, huddle at least once a month to dive deeper into your DigitalOcean's cloud bill. Start tagging your resources. If you get onto DigitalOcean's console, you can tag resources. We support rich tagging, right? That helps you break down your costs, let's say by resources. You can break down your costs by projects. You can also break down your costs by different environments. That can be eye-opening to truly understand which are your cost drivers and which are your biggest expenses. Next, once you have a good understanding about your cloud bill, the next thing to do would be to attack the low-hanging fruits. I'm talking about identifying and cleaning up unused resources. Again, you can use DigitalOcean console to identify the idle droplets or the unattached volumes or even the super old snapshots that are ticking your cloud bill, right? If you don't need them, just delete them so that they don't tick your cloud bill. After you've removed the unused resources, the next smart move would be to look at underutilized resources. Right? This is where you try to match the capacity that you have in your infrastructure with the demand that you see in your business. This is where you use cool capabilities like auto-scaling. Right? Imagine auto-scaling like you're renting an apartment that magically expands as guests arrive, and it magically shrinks when guests leave. Right? That's auto-scaling for you. And DigitalOcean supports auto-scaling for a variety of products, be it Droplets, App Platform, or Kubernetes. You also heard during the keynote today morning that managed databases will also start supporting auto-scaling. Right? It's available, it's generally available. So leverage auto-scaling not only to match the capacity with demand, do not fall for the fear of downtime or performance downgrades. Right? Do not over-provision out of fear. Do not overspend. So use auto-scaling to squash your fears and stop overspending due to over-provisioning. Right? I would also encourage you to look at the long-term benefits of some of the managed services that we offer. Right? We offer managed databases. We offer clustering solutions. What they do is they help you get rid of the hidden costs of maintenance activities like applying patches or replications and things like that. Right? So your teams can spend more time, effort, and money on new innovative ideas or innovative processes that can help you move the needle for the business than spend their high valuable time on maintenance activities. So do give our managed services a serious consideration for long-term benefits and reducing your cloud bill. Here are some additional ways to curb that wasted spend. Right? Folks, take a look at your data costs because those can be very sneaky. Right? When I say data costs, I'm talking about both the bandwidth costs as well as cost to store data. Right? DigitalOcean offers generous bandwidth elements. For example, if you buy, let's say, a Droplet or an App Platform or Spaces, you get an allowance of bandwidth. Look at your historical patterns, estimate your bandwidth needs so that you spend less, you incur less on overage charges on bandwidth. Right? The next thing is, well, this is a good one. Storage costs can bloat up over time as well. Because, folks, we all bring some bad habits from our personal life into our work lives as well, right? Honestly admit, how many of us have gone to our phones and deleted those old videos, those multiple selfies that we've captured that has been there for several years, right? It all bloats up, and we bring those habits into our business life as well. So, again, it's very important for us to set up good lifecycle policies that automatically goes and deletes files that we no longer need, right? And also move certain files that we rarely use into less expensive storage tiers. Again, during the keynote today, you all heard about a cool new feature. Does anyone know what that is? We heard about a new feature in Spaces called Spaces Cold Storage, which is super expensive, which makes it super inexpensive. Thank you. At least I woke you up. Thank you. Which makes it super inexpensive to store your infrequently accessed data. Right? So if you have set up good lifecycle policies that removes data, constantly moves infrequently accessed data to lower expensive storage tiers, such as the Spaces Cold Storage. Another thing that I would encourage all of you to do is there are tons of resources that are available at no additional cost as part of your subscription. For example, for a long time, we've been having DigitalOcean Functions, right? It uses a pay-as-you-go model. It is super lightweight, great for backend jobs. The best part is it offers free tier of 90,000 gigabyte seconds per month, and you only have to pay once you exceed that allowance, right? Similarly, if you buy, let's say, if you already have a subscription to Spaces or an app platform, you get a CDN as part of your subscription at no additional cost. So folks, if you stick a CDN in front of your storage, not only are you going to spend less on egress charges, right? Your end consumers are also going to have a better experience because CDNs deliver the data faster to them, right? And I don't have to say this. You saw the slew of innovations that we released just today, and DigitalOcean has been on an innovation spree for the last several years. There are tons of new features and new capabilities that are available at no additional cost, that are super inexpensive when compared to that offered by hyperscalers. Please adopt these new features as well so that you're able to get more value and better ROI from DigitalOcean as well. And the last point on controlling wasted spend on the cloud is something that's often overlooked. I want to spend a minute to talk about this, which is the cost of errors. It's very common. It's very possible for any team member to just, in all good sense, unintentionally, right, just go delete a resource by mistake, or even override a configuration which can result in, let's say, performance degradation or even a downtime. That's when you need to use good controls. For example, we have role-based access controls, which can not only help you strengthen security, it can also proactively set up controls to avoid errors. But despite no matter how much you've guarded, right, how much controls you've set in, there's always things that can happen. That's why, in addition to proactive controls, it's also essential for us to have a good disaster recovery and a backup strategy that helps us quickly bounce back so should an uneventful event happen, right? So have proactive controls and good disaster recovery strategy to bounce back and avoid the costly expense of errors, right? So those are some of the ways to curb wasted spend on cloud. Let's now shift gears a bit and talk about how we can scale affordably with AI. I would begin with picking the right GPUs, right? And we are in Europe, London. GDPR is in top of mind for most of us and our consumers and customers too, right? And DigitalOcean fully supports GDPR, and it can help you all comply with those standards through provisions that we support, right? In Amsterdam, we offer the NVIDIA HGX H100s, both as a bare metal as well as a GPU droplet. Now, it's important for you to choose that GPU as a droplet or a bare metal because that could impact your AI bill, right? So GPU is more like a pay-as-you-go model, right? So for short-term projects, you want something extremely adaptable, right? Go for a GPU. Instead, bare metal is more like a fixed expense model that's suitable for long-term inferencing needs. If you need full access to hardware, choose a bare metal. Again, be wise in choosing bare metal or GPU because that could impact your AI bill as well. And then, as you start to build AI apps, or as you start to infuse AI into your existing applications, it's important for you to design the applications for cost efficiency right off the bat itself, right? Let cost efficiency optimization not be a version 3 or a version 4 iteration of your applications, right? For example, right when you design for using GPU's auto-scaling capabilities as well, right? So that you don't spend idle GPU cycle, you don't have to expense for that, right? Similarly, when you use, let's say, a serverless inference and things like that, you only pay when those workloads are triggered, and you can pay by the milliseconds as well, right? Again, start designing for cost efficiency right when, as part of your first version itself. Do not wait till your version 3 or 4 to optimize for cost. The last two techniques to scale efficiently with AI would be not all our applications, not all businesses truly need the complex and costly commercial models, right? There are really good smaller open source models, such as the DeepSeek R1, Llama 3.18b, and also the Minstrel Nemo Instruct, right? These are smaller open source models that are designed for many regular workloads as well, right? They are lightweight, efficient, and more budget friendly, right? Please consider them so that, because you don't have to pay licensing fees, and should any of you have to customize these models, right? I've seen customers in general save up to 60% when they choose these smaller open source models than the complex commercial ones. So if any of your applications or use cases can operate well with these smaller models, go for them as well so that you reduce your overall AI bill. And then the final point I want to share is token costs can be very tricky too, right? They can bring a lot of variability into your cloud bill as well, right? Again, when you use, let's say, a serverless inference, you only pay for tokens used per request, right? And also, when you design your application, set up those event-driven agentic workflows so that you only incur tokens when those workflows are triggered by those business conditions. And you can also specify the maximum number of tokens that you want AI to use. For example, even within our Gradient AI platform, right, both at the API level as well as in the playground, right, when you're building those apps, right, you can specify max tokens to optimize for cost versus quality that you get back from the AI response as well. So those are some of the ways in which you can optimize the cost and get better value from our AI solutions too. So those are some of the ways, some super effective proven ways to reduce your wasted spend and scale affordably with the AI. And these are not abstract concepts. We've done some research. We've seen the common techniques and tactics that many DigitalOcean customers use to curb that wasted spend, and those are exactly these tips. And to give you more evidence, right, I'm now going to invite a customer who's put some of these tips into practice and has been reducing a lot of cloud spend as well. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Anze Widmer from Gentoo Media to share how they've been reducing their cloud spend. Anze?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm the cool customer he was referring to before. But seriously, my name is Anže Widmer. I'm director of DevOps and InfoSec in Gentoo Media. And before I jump into our concrete case about how we managed to cut costs with DigitalOcean, please allow me to take a moment or two to introduce myself properly a little bit and the company I work with. As I already said, I am from Slovenia. I am based in Malta for the last 12 years. I've been in IT since I was 6 years old when I started programming in Turbo Pascal. If anybody still remembers this programming language. Cool. Nice, nice. I've been in the touch with the keyboard ever since, and it's been quite a journey. But the biggest journey for me started when I sneaked into the house the dial-up modem. Yeah, it's true, it's true. My parents didn't allow me to do it, so I had to find a workaround for it, and that was it. And I started exploring the beautiful world of the internet. And by the year 2000, I already co-wrote the first Slovenian book about Linux. And on the way, I've certified myself in all kind of certifications possible for Linux and Microsoft world, because I simply love technology and I was simply just exploring it, what is there and what's not, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's a little bit about me. So a bit about the company I work with. We are basically one of the biggest affiliate players in the world. We are in affiliation business, so we are basically the golden bridge between the players and the product. So we started the company in 2012 as a gaming innovation group, it was called. And later on, we split it away from it and just became like a complete separated company that basically we did. So just to get a feel of the size of the company and what we are doing, we basically have 16 continuous quarters of all-time high till 2014. And just in the 2014 alone, we were able to generate 123.5 million. And that's 40 or 50% EBITDA, which is quite wild. So being in affiliation business, this means we run hundreds of sites, a lot of sites. So imagine how the platform looks like. It's huge. The platform is huge, and we're utilizing, obviously, DigitalOcean for that. Yeah, let me tell you now about our relationship with DigitalOcean. So we started in 2014, obviously with the Droplets, and that's also the time when we started, deploying a lot of sites. And you all know that every site has a database, right? More or less. So end of the day, if you look at our platform, it's huge because it's basically, I cannot give you too much details, but it's a lot of databases in the background. And let me ask you something. Who set up a database cluster from scratch at some point in his or her career? Okay, I see quite a few hands. Okay, it's good that it's not too much because the ones that didn't raise your hand, you don't know the pain of it when something breaks. So that's awesome. So now imagine this. So how many of you were actually fixing the broken database clusters, whatever happened? Half of what raised hands before, which is good, perfect, because that's the real pain when it comes in. That's the real pain, especially when you're having multi-master application and you get a split brain. That's amazing, especially in the middle of the night. That's amazing. I would recommend this to everyone, really, to at least try it so you will appreciate what DigitalOcean had to offer. So yeah, long story short, I will just rewind to the end. We basically decided that it's time to, not manage cluster databases anymore, but to use DigitalOcean managed databases. And just by this time alone, because let me tell you that we saved just on the bill 25-ish% of the bill with this stunt. But the story doesn't end here. What the best thing about this story is that let's leave the money beside. The story around it is the engineers are completely in different state now when it comes to happiness. Engineers are happy because they don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. and start solving split brains on databases that are terabytes big. It's just wild. It's crazy. So instead, we just decided, let's just take our application, plug it into the managed database, and we are done. We are done. We don't have to think about it. It's not our job anymore. Somebody else will be waking up at 3, and we're happy. So we did stunt alone. We saved on the bill, and the happiness level of the engineers went up. And we didn't have any downtime since. So yeah. So in case you are not using the managed databases yet, I would strongly encourage you to at least try it. So right after this pitch, you can just open your laptop and try it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not affiliated in any way with DigitalOcean. I'm just saying that it was a big game changer for us, and I couldn't be happier, and team couldn't be happier, and now the engineers have more time to work on actual project that matters, and not fiddling around with maintaining, security patching, backing up, fixing the issues of the database clusters, but just plug and play, and you're done. Thank you. Now I'll give the microphone to my friend Akshit.
Thank you, Anze. Thank you very much. I'm very sure this is going to be really helpful for our audience here and customers globally. Hello, everyone. My name is Akshit Pratyush. I'm a senior solutions architect at DigitalOcean. I work closely with startup and enterprise customers, help build their cloud solutions, that gives them better performance with cost efficiency. Outside work, I love to travel and I'm a big foodie. But lately, I've started keeping track of my calories almost as carefully as my customers keep track of their cloud costs. Cloud cost can spiral, especially now with the addition of AI workloads. It is very important that we track the cost in the real time as good as we measure the performance. The good news, DigitalOcean provides you simple yet powerful tools that can help slash your cost without slashing your innovations. So I work with customers daily, and I have analyzed 3 reasons where customers overspend. They provision bigger machines than needed. They do not monitor the resources, so unutilized resources burn a lot of money. And there's an addition of GPUs or the AI workloads like GPUs and data storage and data transfer, and that can add up really fast, even before you notice. So the point I'm trying to make here is, it is not just about cost, it is also about visibility and control. So now I'll show you 3 super simple tools from DigitalOcean that can help save your cost and make your cost more predictable. So let me start here. So you can see DigitalOcean screen right now, the UI. I am on the Droplet tab, and you can see Deploy 2025 as one of the machine that we have created. You can see the graphs here. You can see CPU, load, memory, disk uses, bandwidth, etc. But how do we see these graphs? How do we see it? So when you go to your Droplet creation, you will get an option to create the droplet, and there itself there's an option to create a metric agent. If you scroll down here, you should be able to see we recommend these options: add improved metric monitoring and alerting, which is an absolutely free of cost tool from DigitalOcean that helps you enable system level metrics. You can create it while doing it from the UI. You can do it while creating it from the API or CLI commands, right? And it is a free tool that's based out of Go utility. And if you fail to deploy it or install it while creating the droplet, you can always do it later on via the commands and the script, right? We'll go back to the droplet now. And as you can see, we'll go back to the droplet. The CPU consumption, the demo that I'll be doing will be focused on the CPU consumption. CPU consumption here is somewhere around 40%, which means this particular droplet is underutilized. I'm using a droplet of 16 vCPU, 64 GB RAM, and I'm using 40%, and this droplet costs somewhere around $500 per month. If I reduce the size, I can save around 50% of the cost. Let's say if I go down to a $250 machine, I'll be saving around 50% of my cost. However, how do we do that? How do we monitor it? It's not easy to always keep checking on the graphs all the time, right? And that is where we come to the monitoring part. So this monitoring is something that will help you create resource alerts. And exactly what I mentioned earlier, you need the monitoring agent to be installed, right? So when you go to the resource alerts and click on resource alert option, you should be able to see all the features or the metric threshold that you can set. So under the metric type, you will see CPU utilization, load average, memory utilization, disk read write, bandwidth, etc. For this particular demo, since we have been talking about CPU, we'll focus on CPU utilization. Rule is something that we will set is below, and since it was 40% consumption, we'll keep it around 45% and set the duration as 1 hour. Next, we have the option to select the droplet or the tag. You can select all the droplets at once, as you can see here. You can always select tags for specific projects, and you can always add individual droplet also. So since we are using Deploy 2025 for this demo, we can select that. Next, we get the option to select the alert notifications. You have the option of email and Slack. You can add multiple email addresses there. You can always add a Slack configuration, Slack channel, and you can integrate that directly. And finally, you have the option to create the name and create the resource alert. Okay, so this is the whole setup of how you can do a monitoring and alert. So if I have to give you an example, let's say you have a workload that spikes periodically, maybe once a month, right? What you can do in that scenario is you can always have a snapshot ready of these machines so that you can always scale down whenever needed. And at those particular moments when it is supposed to scale up or you are expecting your workloads to go higher, you can always upsize your Droplet, right? So think of this monitoring tool as one of your early warning system, and not just for performance. You can also use it for cost, as I said. Moving along to the next tool, which is billing alerts, right? So how can we use these billing alerts? This is my SafeNet. Who can set these billing alerts? Any of your users who has owner right or the biller access right, they can create and use these billing alerts. DigitalOcean has also started custom rules now. So if you are giving access to some of your users for the billing views or billing access, they should also be able to create it. So I'm on the billing settings page right now, and you can see the billing alert, which is currently disabled, right? If I click on enable alert, you see you have an option to set an alert amount, and you will receive an email whenever your monthly balance reaches this specified amount below. So which is I have set to $1,000 in a month. Again, I'll try and explain it with a scenario. Let's say you are running a project on DigitalOcean, and you want your bill to be somewhere around $3,000 every month. If you are setting this threshold of $1,000, what will happen? You are expecting your alert to be notified somewhere around 10th of the month, which is like 1/3. Now, let's say you are getting your alert somewhere around 8th of that month, which means you are slightly overspending. This is a perfect time to go back, check what exactly is consuming more money for you. How can you rectify that? This is a perfect timing where you can identify, analyze, and do a quick fix. On the other hand, if you are getting a notification somewhere around 12th of the month, which means you could be happy. You are way under your budget. Probably by the end of this month, you might not be going beyond your $3,000 of budget that you have set. So that is how this billing alerts or billing notifications can be helpful. This is perfect for your small projects, hackathons, or AI projects as well. Because on AI and these things, there is difficult to predict the bill, right? So this is where it will be helpful. In fact, I like to think of this as a, oh, did I miss on the screen? Sorry, guys. Okay. So in fact, I like to think of this as a parental lock for a cloud bill. That is something that I have mentioned before. A parental lock for your cloud bill so that you can keep a track of your expensive workloads on DigitalOcean. So moving along to the third tool that we want to showcase is a pricing calculator. So this pricing calculator is not a part of for DigitalOcean console. However, it's a separate website that you can use. So you do not need to be a DigitalOcean customer to do it. This is also something that I'll explain with an example. As you can see on the screen, I have all the resources showing up, GPUs, virtual machines, and all the services that DigitalOcean offers, and you are getting charged for databases, all the database that we have, and then we have storage and networking as well. Let's say, again, I have planning to deploy a project on DigitalOcean, which is AI workloads that I want to deploy on DigitalOcean, right? For that, I need a GPU droplet. Let's say I choose NVIDIA H100. I add it to the estimate. Later on, I also need a database. I select maybe Postgres SQL. I select that. I see all the nodes that are available, basic, general purpose, storage optimized. I select general purpose for my use case. 8 vCPU, 32 GB machine seems to be decent enough for my requirement. I will add that to the estimate as well. And finally, I'll need some storage as well. So let's go to the storage tab and try and select maybe storage of around 1000 GB. That should be good enough for my workload at this moment. I am not very sure about the data transfer amount, so I'll keep that as it is. And I'll add it to the estimate as well. So now you can see all the details here. You can see the resources that you have used. You can see the configuration that it is using, 250 GB, 20 vCPU, database configuration, you can see storage and everything you can see here. And then you can see the final estimated price, which I think is slightly above my budget at this moment. What I can do is I can tweak this a little bit. What can I change? So let me try and see if there is other options that DigitalOcean provides on the GPU front, right? I can go back to my GPU tab again, And I can see what other Droplets or GPUs DigitalOcean offers, which can still be good enough for my workload and also goes under my budget, right? I can compare, I can see the configuration of all the services that we have. I see 4,000 ADI is very cost effective. However, 6,000 ADI looks much better with the configuration and should work better for my workload and the resources that I'm trying to deploy. So I'll select 6,000 ADI. I will go to the configuration details and add it to my estimate. Once this is added, what I can see is I can try and remove now NVIDIA H100, which was earlier added. So now I have the fresh configuration. I have 6,000 ADI, I have database storage, and I can see the final estimate now, which makes me really happy. It is way below my budget. I was targeting $2,000. It goes below that. So it looks perfect for me, perfect that I want to use. So this is how you can use pricing calculator as well. You can do and download estimate. You can share it with your team. You can create a project proposal out of it. It helps you plan before you deploy so that there are no surprises by the end of the month. You are aware of what it's going to cost you. It is like checking the menu in a restaurant before you order the food so that you are assured or you are aware of what the bill is going to be by the end of the meal. So finally, the takeaways that I want to focus on is monitoring will give you visibility, billing alerts will give you control, and the pricing calculator will give you predictability. So you guys can all start small experiments now. Try and set monitoring and alerts from day one when you start using DigitalOcean. Try and set up pricing calculator or use pricing calculator whenever you plan to scale or deploy new projects on DigitalOcean. And trust me, your CFO will thank you. That is all from me. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it was helpful for you guys. I will now like to call Aurelian on stage. He is the COO and co-founder of GoMag, and he will be sharing his experience. Thank you all.
Hello, everybody. Let me start with a fun fact, which is actually not that fun when you actually pay the bill. Over 35% of our merchants' traffic is bots and crawlers. So that means over a third of the requests which are hitting our e-commerce platform are not people at all. They're software. But before I go on, let me introduce myself. I'm Aurelian Motica, co-founder and CEO of GoMag. We are the largest e-commerce platform in Romania, and we empower 5,000 merchants to build and scale their online businesses. We started with DigitalOcean back in 2020 with a mix of their products like volumes, load balancers, droplets, and at some point in time we started looking into managed databases. But before the cloud, things for us were a little tricky. Our biggest problem, well, we couldn't really see what was happening. We had monitoring which was unreliable. And of course, scaling wasn't as simple as clicking a button. It was more like plan a weekend. So we did the only thing we could back then. We over-provisioned because when you're in e-commerce, you have traffic spikes all the time. You have campaigns, launches, you have sales days. So for us, at least, over-provisioning was all we could do back then. I still remember my first Black Friday, our first Black Friday. It was way before DigitalOcean, and we only had around 200 merchants on our platform. We more than doubled our resources a week in advance, and I remember thinking to myself that we're safe. So of course, when Black Friday came, right after midnight, our traffic went through the roof. Suddenly, all our servers were hitting the limits, and if we were more prepared and had better monitoring, I'm sure we would have seen the signs in advance. But unfortunately, we didn't. So we scrambled, we moved customers to some dedicated servers, we did what we could, and thankfully, we kept everyone online. But there is one critical lesson I learned that weekend, and that is, if you don't have clear monitoring and easy scaling, you end up paying for fear instead of paying for growth. So moving forward, when we decided to actually move to the cloud, our objective wasn't to be modern. It was more to be scalable and measurable. So of course, As you know, scaling a server actually became a click of a button. But the most important thing we did was to maximize monitoring. And DigitalOcean helped us with the right tools in that direction. Now we know exactly which servers we need to scale, and most importantly, when. And we have real-time alerts in place, and I can proudly say we are the ones running our infrastructure and not the other way around. As a result, we cut wasted spend from over-provisioning by around 46%. So coming back to my fun fact earlier, today, at least for us, monitoring is more important than ever because, as I said, over 35% of the traffic is bots and crawlers. But in this day and age, AI crawlers are joining the mix. They can be very aggressive, and if you don't have good visibility, you end up scaling for crawlers instead of scaling for real customers. And that can really burn your budget. So our first lesson was don't pay for fear. Today's lesson would be don't pay for noise. Because in the age of AI crawlers, having a strong monitoring allows you to scale your resources wisely on one hand, and on the other hand is the only way you can protect both your uptime and your margins. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurelien. Great story. Don't pay for fear, don't pay for noise. Great tips. So folks, hopefully you've gained some confidence. Once you get back, please share these with your teams, right? Hopefully you've gained the confidence to try at least a couple of tips and start adopting the tools that you saw Akshat demonstrate so that you're able to get a better control of your expenses and curb those wasteful spend, right? I'd also encourage you to read tons of our DigitalOcean's cloud blogs. If you go to digitalocean.com, blogs, there are tons of blogs that give you more best practices and more articles that can help you grow effectively on DigitalOcean. Right? I'm also going to request, if you are looking for expert guidance that is highly tailored for your setup, for your business, right? You see the QR code on the right side? Feel free to take out your phones and scan that, because what that gives is a special offer to you all, which is a consultation session with our solution architects, right? They are willing to give you free personalized guidance on topics such as, let's say you want to do a cloud architecture review. Do you want to reevaluate your data and storage policies, disaster recovery practices? Or if you are looking to migrate workloads from expensive hyperscalers into more affordable DigitalOcean platform, right? If you want to start planning for migration of workloads, our solution architects can connect with you to understand your needs, your aspirations, understand your current setup, and create a plan and give you the guidance to help you save more costs and grow affordably. So folks, at DigitalOcean, we are on a mission to help you create software that makes a meaningful change in this world. Hopefully, once you get back, you'll share these tips and adopt these tools, and hopefully connect with our solution architects as well to make that change a lot more affordably. It was a pleasure to connect with you all. On behalf of all the speakers of this session, we sincerely thank you, and enjoy the rest of the event, please. Thank you.